Okay, we are live.
Woohoo!
Oh, you guys, I am so excited for today. Like, I can't believe this is just so like God inspired how everything came together, like literally within 8 minutes. I think I did a post in my group, and Rachel's like, "This is my thing," and I knew it was, but she's a busy lady, but she is also a dear friend, and I'm just so excited for her expertise, her training today, for us to kind of gather all of her amazing wisdom that usually you would have to pay for. So super excited to have you here, Rachel, and what you are going to be walking us through with branding. So I'm just going to let you take it away.
All right. Well, thank you, Carrie. It is such an honor to be here. I love being part of your group. It is great to meet more of you ladies face to face. Thank you for showing your faces. I am a very, very interactive trainer, so I will ask you questions and give you opportunity to respond, whether you drop it in the chat or whatever. This is not just going to be like I am far from boring. So, so just buckle your seatbelts. And this is my jam. This is also my life message. And that's one of the things that I have come to realize in the past few years. And I'm going to get into that a little bit. And I am so passionate about empowering business owners and entrepreneurs to rock your brand like a boss. Because so many times when it comes to this conversation of branding and marketing and whatever. Just to give you a little snippet of my background, I've been in public communications for 22 years. I have been a professional designer for more than 15 years. I have been an entrepreneur full time for 4.5 years, and my passion is branding, obviously. And so when Carrie put that in the group, I was like, "Ooh, I'll share." Because one of the things that happens is there's so much confusion and there's so much overwhelm and there's so much bad information out there about branding that is causing business owners to miss it in their branding and actually lose money. And I am tired of seeing that happen. And one of the other things that happens sometimes is not a knock against my industry, but just to be honest, is a lot of times an agency or somebody will come in like, "Oh, we're the experts and you're stupid and you don't know what you're doing and you need to do this." And I don't believe in any of that. I lovingly say that's ball of crap because because here's the thing. Your business was God's idea before it was ever your idea. And there is a unique plan and purpose and identity for your business that he created that was in his heart and his mind before he ever gave it to you to steward. And you are the steward of your business. So at the end of the day, there is no one, absolutely no one better equipped to rock the brand of your business than you. Nobody knows it better than you because God entrusted it to you. So it's fun being able to say that. Most of the time I work covert, which is awesome because Kingdom of Heaven speaks for itself, right? But it is fun to be in an environment where I can like really go deep and tell you all the things. So when you hear that word branding, what are some of the things that come to mind? You can unmute yourself. You can drop it in the chat. If you want to comment on Facebook, Carrie, you're probably watching those. When you hear the word branding, what comes to mind?
What people know you by.
Okay.
I guess is what also how you display your business.
Okay. Any others? Those are great. There is no such thing as a wrong answer.
I guess also some of your marketing materials with your logo as part of
Okay.
your brand to represent your brand.
Okay.
So name recognition.
Okay.
Oh, and you. The person who is the brand. You are your brand a lot of the times.
That's right. What were you going to add to that, Carrie?
Yeah, just a little bit what Deborah was saying. I mean, honestly, until fairly recently, I just thought it was like the colors and the logo and how everything works together. Like literally just that was what I thought branding was.
And that's what most people think branding is, right? Most business owners that we talk to when you think about brand. You know, one of our boss babes calls it the outfit. And I love how she describes it. When it comes to branding, most people think about the outfit, right? What does the outside look like? What are the colors? What is the logo? What is all of that? And here's the truth. That's a piece of your brand, but that is not the entirety of your brand. In fact, that is really the second step, not the first. Because the foundation of every successful brand begins with identity. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. That's why I called this More Than a Pretty Face. Because when it comes to branding, so many times we think of that pretty face, whether it's that posed Instagram photo or the colors or whatever. It's all of the pretty face of your business. But that's where so many business owners, especially boss babes, I'm getting fired up already, Carrie. So many business owners, especially boss babes, get it wrong, because they go right to that and they miss the foundation. And if you don't lay a firm foundation, then your building will fall, right? If you want to build a skyscraper, you better have a solid foundation and you better go deep. And so you have to start with the foundation of your brand, and then you can build all of those things on top of that. So let's talk about what branding is. This is not our brand. Now, some of you seeing that are probably like, wait, like that's your logo and you've got your colors and your patterns and whatever. It's a piece of our brand, but this of itself is not our brand. Here's why. Branding is not us putting our mark on something. Branding is the mark that experience with your business makes in the mind of your customers. So where this comes from is, when you think about historically branding and like searing the flesh of an animal, sounds pretty awful. But the point of that was so that cattle ranchers would know whose is whose. So if an animal got lost or whatever, so they wouldn't be stolen, whatever, people still think about branding like that, but it's not. In order to truly capture the real power of branding and the ROI of your brand, you have to think about branding in reverse. What is that mark that entire experience of anyone interacting with your company has in the minds of your customers? That's what brands you in their mind. And I love how you said that, Deborah, what you're known as, what you're remembered by, right? This is what is so, so important. And so I'm going to give you a fun, practical example of that. So another way that people talk about it is our impression, right? Our impression of somebody. So think about somebody that you recently met, maybe online, offline, something like that, right? What are some of the words that come to mind when you think about that person that you met? You can go ahead and chime in. I'll take a swig of tea.
I'll go again. Determined.
Okay.
Excited.
Okay.
Motivated. Serious about what they're doing.
Those are great.
I think the vulnerability part of it, if I could actually sense if we're going to connect. And I guess for me, it would be what is their experience through their whole entire branding.
Sure. That's great. Carrie, what about you?
I was responding on Facebook. Can you ask the question again?
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to. Sorry to catch you off guard.
Nope.
So somebody that you recently met, online, offline, whatever, what was your impression of that person? What are some words that come to mind when you think of meeting that person?
Okay. Yes, I really connect with people who are authentic, vulnerable, down to earth, humble, warm, caring, inviting.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it interesting? Not one of you said, oh, yeah, I met this woman and she was wearing this purple blouse and this fun necklace and whatever. None of you said that. And yet, the first thing we jump to in this conversation of branding our businesses is that outfit. And so, this is why, if you think about somebody that you know really well, maybe you've known them for a long time, or maybe they're best friend or, significant other or whatever, the words that you use to describe them or the way that you know them is far, far deeper than anything on the outside. Why? What is it that you know about them? You know their identity. That involves their personality, that involves their values, what makes them tick, everything that God wired into their DNA, right? That's how we know these people. And for some reason, when it comes to business, people get this idea that business is different than real life. It's not. It's no different. It's no different at all. Business was God's idea to advance the kingdom of heaven on earth through us, through our businesses. It's all about relationship. The purpose that business exists is to solve problems and take care of people. It is no different than real life. It's not. That whole saying, like, it's not personal, it's business. I'm sorry, but that's also a ball of crap, right? It is personal. Everything in business is human to human, because the purpose in God's heart for business is to solve problems and take care of people. And whenever we get our eyes off of the people, then we've missed it. That's a whole other conversation for maybe a different day. So, when you think about the identity of someone, that's how we know them, which is why to really harness the power of branding and the impact that we can have, listen to this, to extend our reach and also the reach of the kingdom, is tapping into this power of identity. So here's a great example of this. Have you ever heard that phrase, or have somebody send something to you going, oh, this really made me think of you? What is it that made that person think of you? It's their experience with you and how you've been branded in their minds. So a story I love to tell about this is my friend Blake Neal. He is a hoot. And if you want some of the corniest dad jokes that you have ever heard in your life, that you will roll your eyes, but still probably think are funny on some level, particularly with a bit of intellectual geek humor involved that may or may not include Star Wars or the elements table or anything like that, like, this is my friend Blake. But here's the story of Blake. So when I first met Blake, I was new to the area. I didn't know anybody. And I was really good friends with a girl who lived 3 hours away in Rochester. I'm in Binghamton, New York. She lived in Rochester, and we were really close. We actually led a Bible study together. And she happened to have cousins who lived in my city. And so she kind of connected us, and we had tried to meet up and it wasn't working out and whatever. So one of the co-leaders of that Bible study got married. Now, in the course of us doing the Bible study, her cousins had gotten to know this girl who was getting married. So we were all invited to the same wedding. So she had her cousins reach out to me and say, hey, why don't we all ride to the wedding together? Because it was like 2 hours away. So I thought, okay, this is fun. So I get in the car. I don't know these people at all, right? I don't know about you, but particularly that season of my life, I was a little shy and like, okay, I'll ride in a car with these people I don't know for 2 hours. That's not awkward. And so right away, as soon as I got in the car, Blake started cracking jokes and making me feel comfortable and making me feel at ease and everything. That was my first experience with Blake, was this guy is really like welcoming and he's really funny and all of this. Well, I've now known he and his wife for about 7 years, and I have seen him be funny when he's angry. I've seen him be funny when he's sad. I've seen him be funny when he's frustrated with his kiddos. I've seen him be funny with his guy friends. I've seen him be funny at church. I've seen him be funny in all of these different areas. And as soon as I see him, I hadn't seen him like at all this year. And then my friend surprised me with a chopped cooking night for my birthday, and he was there. And sure enough, as soon as I saw him, like, boom, he's just making everybody laugh again. And it's not just that he's branded that way in my mind. Everybody who knows Blake knows that he's funny. Like you can look on his Facebook wall and it is all memes that people have shared with him saying, this made me think of you. Oh, I couldn't resist. Oh, whatever. Funny and Blake Neal belong in the same sentence because that has been branded in our minds. How? Through the consistent experience of that over time. And I want to pause for a minute because there's a whole lot I could share and I want to kind of break it down a little bit tonight. But the foundation is identity, but then you have to be consistent in that. Because how painful is it when someone isn't who they say they are or who you thought they were? Isn't that when we get hurt the deepest? What does that do? It breaks our trust. And here's the thing, every interaction that anyone has with your business at any level, by the way, that could be an email, that could be social media, that could be interacting with you on a Zoom call, that could be all kinds of ways, that could be, can they navigate your website? All of those things, every touch point, every interaction is an opportunity to build or break trust. And trust is the most powerful currency that your business can have. How likely are you to do business with people you don't trust? Not very, right? I know I'm not. I am not very likely to do business with people that I don't trust. And any time that you are not consistent with the identity of your brand, first of all, people can smell it a mile away. Isn't that why there's so much talk about like, oh, that's Instagram fake, whatever? Why? Because you can smell a mile away that that's not consistent with who they are. It's not the truth of who they are. Every time that you do that, you start to chip away at that trust. And disillusioned customers become somebody else's customers. So this is why it's so powerful to get your branding right, because that's what builds the trust that, hear this part, allows you to bring the solutions that you bring through your business. And I believe allows us to release the solutions of heaven on earth to the people that we're called to serve. So here's the thing about identity. Again, when it comes to branding, so many boss babes in particular start to feel the need to look around at what everybody else is doing and look like everybody else. Let me ask you a question. Who is the ultimate brand strategist of the universe? Who is the ultimate creator? Who is the ultimate establisher of identity? Look at everything that he made. Every snowflake is unique. Every DNA strand is unique. Every flower is unique. Every star is unique. When the ultimate brand strategist of the universe is every water droplet, every molecule, when everything that he created is crying out this message, be who you are, then why do we fall into this trap of feeling the need to look like everybody else? And yet we do it. And I see it so many times in branding. And here's the thing. No problem, Deborah. Have a great day. Catch the rest of the replay. It's been great to have you here. There are so many little ways we do this too, right? Sometimes it's not big glaring ways, but anytime you catch yourself looking and comparing yourself to somebody else, because here's the other thing, it's only when we have something to measure against that we feel like we don't measure up. Anytime you look at what somebody else is doing and are like, oh, well, mine doesn't look like that. Oh, well, da da da. Now, success leaves clues. There is that. But are you playing the copycat game? Or are you mining for clues that you can then take and use in a way that's congruent for you with the identity of your business, of your brand, because there's a very big difference there. Because chameleons are amazing creatures, right? I have even literally seen a picture of a chameleon blended into a Coca-Cola can. Like, how is that even possible? Obviously, like, God makes that possible, but it's not like a chameleon knows what a Coca-Cola can is. It's incredible. Chameleons are so good at looking like the surroundings, right? Looking like whatever they're around, whatever they're in. Why do they do that? To avoid being eaten, which is super helpful when you're avoiding predators. But do you want to blend in as your business, or do you want to stand out? Because you can keep up with the Joneses or you can be the Joneses. The choice is yours. And this is another area that business owners miss it so badly all the time. And I'm going to tell you why. This is what keeps business owners from really tapping into the specific identity of our businesses and having the courage to own our difference and be who we are, not trying to blend in and look like everybody else. And I'm going to get a little vulnerable and share a deep personal story. So, I have never fit in any social circle in my entire life. I've come to accept the fact that I probably never will, right? But there was a lot of pain associated with that for me. There was a lot of feeling like something was wrong. There was a lot of rejection and bullying and all kinds of things. And there's all different ways that I'm different, right? Like I was into ballet when my friends were into sports. And I was, I loved learning when, other people couldn't care less and were in high school. And why are you still, talking with the teacher after school, you brown noser? No, I just love learning, right? Like this is just who I am. So everything about me has always been different. And yet there was so much pain associated with that, right? I'm barely 5 feet tall when the sun is shining. Like there's, I was the pastor's kid. Like I can just name all of these things about my life that were different. And here's what happened. The morning of my 38th birthday, I literally woke up to the voice of shame screaming in my room. Another year older, and what do you have to show for it? What do you even have to show for your life? And when I tell you, I didn't realize at that moment how broken I actually was. Because I would have ladies from the community reach out to me and say, "Hey, can we go to lunch? I'd love to hear your story. You're just so inspiring." And I went home and I was bleeding inside. Because what was so inspiring to them was shameful to me. Do you know what that was? It was different. My life at 38 years old at the time didn't look like the lives of anybody I saw around me. Didn't look like the lives of any women that I saw around me, right? Not in my church, not in my social circles, not in any of that. I felt different because I had written this beautiful plan for my life, right? Like husband arrives at 26 and we get married and, we start a family. And my business was going to be what I did as a side hustle while I was raising babies. And I know a lot of you are raising babies and I have a lot of respect for you. So don't hear what I'm not saying, right? But for me, that wasn't the path that God took me on. And so this is Mr. Knightley, by the way. He will probably make a very grand appearance for much of this. So I had written this beautiful story for my life, and I had watched it unfold in the lives of my friends. I watched it unfold in the lives of the people around me and not unfold in my own. And then God told me to launch my business Oh, that's a whole story for another day, right? We all have our stories. Like when it literally made no sense, right? I was the marketing director of a college. The board voted to make budget cuts and eliminate the marketing department, which is the weirdest thing I've ever heard, but they did. And that's when God said it's time to launch. I had been freelancing, but it's not like I had this whole stable of clients lined up. I didn't have savings in the bank. I didn't qualify for unemployment because I was starting my business. Like it literally made no sense. I didn't even have a laptop, you guys, when I started my business because the laptop I had been using was my laptop for work. So I lose my job and God says it's time to launch. And I was like, wait, what? So there was so much about my story that didn't make any sense. And so here I am, 2 years later at 38 years old at this time that this happened. And God took me on this journey of showing me how what had been shameful to me was his gift. It is his gift to me to be different, which now is like, well, of course, I'm the brand boss. I'm supposed to be different and I'm supposed to help you see your difference too. So it makes sense that everything about me is different. And I was never, it's so funny because I always said when I was little, like I never wanted to have a normal life. And then I got upset that I didn't, right? It's just so funny how we are sometimes. But what I couldn't see as a gift from the heart of my good, kind, loving Heavenly Father to me caused me to feel shame because it didn't look like everybody else. But then he took me on this journey of going back in my journal with him through these seasons that had been so painful and hearing his commentary on it and mining it for the gold. And that's how I started to see that this thing that had been repulsive to me was his gift. And what I thought disqualified me actually qualified me for what I am called to do. And then he took me on this journey of seeing that business was never his plan B for my life. It was always his plan A, and I am called to this. And then about a year and a half ago, he dropped this name in my spirit called Brand Boss. And I thought this was somebody that my business was going to serve, which, by the way, was the business before this one. And I was like, okay, we're going to serve the brand boss, right? And then he tells me to start a podcast. And I was like, wait, what? Nightly, lay down, please, baby. Thank you. And so I call it the Brand Boss Show. And it's all about empowering you to rock your brand like a boss. And then this thing happened that people started calling me the brand boss. And I was like, wait. No. This is about you. This is about empowering you to rock your brand like a boss. So fast forward to January of 2020, and God's timeline is so funny, right? And here I am in January of 2020, and I had a personal situation happen where I was very bold, like very, very bold. And here's the thing. When we know who we are, we can function from that place. But when we don't know our identity, which is true for our businesses as well, then we're not going to function as true to who we are. So I had been doing a really good job playing an introvert. And I didn't realize that's what had been going on and hiding behind shame and all kinds of other things. So I go through this personal experience in January of 2020, had one of the boldest conversations of my life. And, one of my best friends, TT, said, I have a new word. It's Rachel Brave, And so the next day I was like, I found myself like being more bold. I'm like, who am I? And all of a sudden I was like, no, this is who I am. And then God started speaking to me and said, so are you going to embrace who I say you are now? Are you going to embrace who I say you are? Because I say you are the brand boss. And so, I don't know if Melissa's watching, my amazing teammate. So I text Melissa, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm getting this download from God. I think we're supposed to rebrand to the Brand Boss Studio and blah, blah, blah. And so we start working on it, and we were going to launch it in April, not knowing what April was going to look like, right? Here I am thinking that we're going through a rebrand. And so as God loves to do, he tricked us into launching an entirely new business in the middle of a global pandemic. Like, wait, what? And so here's the thing, as we have gone through this process and discovered, as I went through the process of discovering my identity, I was able to step into and discover the identity of my business that was in his heart before it was ever given to me. And as we have come to own our difference as the Brand Boss Studio, there are, not that I know of, any other agencies that do the things that we do, right? So for us to do trainings where we will literally, like, we have walked through helping somebody create their own logo in Canva with our help. That's crazy. That's absurd. Like, nobody does that in our space. And so as we have done these things, it's been very evident that we are different. And here's the thing, I was in some pretty high levels, right? In the design world, and what we do goes beyond design, but I was in some pretty high levels in the design world and design associations that I was on the board of and things like that. And all those people still follow me. And one of the reasons that I hadn't been more vocal about the things that we know and we believe and we teach is that I was afraid what they were going to think. And so many times we are afraid to own our difference and our identity because we're afraid of what other people are going to think, because we're afraid of being different. But here is the thing. I love a description of success that I heard today. Success is being faithful to do what God's told you to do. There it is. That's it, right? Like, at the end of the day, that's it. And so as we've come on this journey, even this year, of owning our difference at the Brand Boss Studio, I don't care anymore, because you know what? I'm not called to my design friends. I'm called to you. And if what I have to bring, and not if, what I have to bring, I know brings the solutions of heaven in your life, in your business. And so for me to not own my difference is withholding that from you. And that's selfish. And it can feel like, oh, well, I don't want to own my difference because it feels cocky or it feels whatever. You know, my dear friend Julia Winston says this amazing thing when it comes to imposter syndrome. And with Carrie's permission, maybe I'll share that podcast episode in this group, because it's so powerful, because it's one of the things that raises its ugly head when it comes to owning our difference in our business. The only reason that we're afraid that something about us, our identity, the identity of our business, won't be accepted is because we don't accept it. Because when we accept it and we own our identity, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or does or says. The only one who has to accept it is us. Because if we are doing what God has told us to do, and we are releasing the solutions that He's given us to release, that's going to resonate with the people that He sent us to serve. And other people's opinions are none of our business, which is a lot easier said than done, but it's true. So this is why the foundation of every successful brand is so much deeper than a pretty face, so much deeper than an outfit. When you can really dial in the identity of your brand, then everything you create, then the colors that you choose and the fonts that you choose and the imagery that you choose. You know, I know Carrie was talking earlier this week about why she uses the beach imagery, and which I love beaches, and and the peace and all of that kind of stuff. All of this should be congruent with the identity of your brand, because when someone is walking congruent in the identity of who they are, you can feel it, and it's powerful. And that's where the breakthrough comes. It's on a whole nother level. I personally believe that when we are walking in alignment with God's identity for us and for our businesses, it accelerates the impact that we can have. It's like what unlocks the true breakthrough that we carry. That's when we see the solutions that we bring go to a whole new level. I will tell you, I have been in this space for more than 15 15 years. And when I began to own my identity as the brand boss, it's not that the stuff that I was doing before wasn't good, because it is, right? But like when I began to own my identity as a woman called to business and as the brand boss, the clarity that started to come from my clients and the breakthrough that we've seen in the businesses that we work with have gone to a whole nother level. We have seen a woman in our challenges go from business idea to business in 1 week. That's crazy, right? Like there is no explanation for that other than the solutions of heaven being released through us. And I am humbled to say that. And yet I will also say that with boldness and confidence, because I know that you get the solutions of heaven when you work with the brand boss. And I can say that in confidence because I know that we are owning the identity that heaven has for us. And so this is the power of owning your difference. And this is the true power of your brand. So we're going to go into an exercise in a minute, but I just want to open it up if there are any questions.
I'm just like, wow, this is so much deeper than anything that I thought branding involved. And I love it. I love that the perspective that you're coming at it with, you know, that about our identity and about us as a person, and especially when you're a personal brand, you know, it does feel very personal. But yeah, the truer you can be to yourself and who you were created to be and putting that out there, oh my gosh, it just feels so much better that way too.
It does. It's freeing. It really is freeing. And, you know, whether it's your personal brand or the brand of your business or both, right? For a lot of us, it's both. But sometimes they are different. And I do want to clarify that too. It's freeing because then you know when you go to create something, when you're writing copy, when you're doing whatever, it should sound and feel and look and all of these things congruent with you. And then you're not caught up in this copycat game. It's what frees you from the copycat game. You're not trying to be like everybody else. You're not trying to look like everybody else and look around. You know the identity of your business and everything that you are building off of that foundation of that identity. You already know what's congruent for you. So it's not about keeping up with trends and all that kind of stuff. It's about being congruent with the identity of your business. And because I can say this openly here, the identity that God purposed in his heart for your business and for you.
So good. Love it.
All right. So do you want to start to dig into this idea of identity? All right. Are we good on time, Carrie?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to bring up an exercise. I'm so excited to share this with you. Like God just put this on my heart and I was like, yes, I will do this. So this is a proprietary exercise that we do at the Brand Boss Studio. Usually we only do it in our events or with clients, but we're going to share a little snippet of it with you because it's just so powerful to have the foundation established correctly. So if you have something to write with, I encourage you to get something to write with if you want to take notes in your phone. And this is a way of looking at branding like you have probably never thought about it before. So here we go. You ready? Call this our identity deep dive. So let me exit full screen here so I can see the exercise in the background. All right. Everybody ready? Okay. So I want to start by saying there are no wrong answers here. I will also start by saying, as I can here, I believe with all my heart, this is a prophetic exercise. So for those of you who are open to that, when I ask these questions, ask the Lord what the answers are, because he knows the identity of your business. And I also want to encourage you again, that at the end of the day, nobody knows your business better than you do, because God entrusted it to you, and he entrusted it to you as a partnership with who he's made you to be and the identity of you. So I want you to close your eyes for a minute, or not if you're driving and listening to this, of course. And I want you to think about your business as if it was a person. And I want to be really, really clear here that we are not talking about who you serve yet. That is not step one. That is actually step two. Okay. So think about your business as if it was a person. What does this person look like? I'll give you a couple minutes to answer that. And I want you to be as specific as you can, too. The next question is, how is this person dressed? And I'll give you those two together because, maybe she's a woman with, a cute cropped bob and she's got a suit, her power suit on with like this funky necklace and fun shoes. And she's, doing this like, if I was walking into a room full of 200 people, right? Back when that was a thing at a networking event or a conference or whatever, how would you describe your business? Again, not who you serve, your business as a person so that I would instantly recognize them. So, what does this person look like? And then, secondly, how is this person dressed? All right, next question. How is this person interacting with others in the room? All right, next. How would other people in the room probably describe this person? So, the way I like to talk about this is like you're in a networking meeting, and so these are people who have just met this person or, kind of see this person from a distance. Like, how would other people in the room describe this person? And again, we're talking about your business as a person, not the people that you serve. How would this person be described by friends, colleagues? So we have like the strangers or the people seeing at a different distance or just meeting. So now this question is, how would people who know this person a little better, so friends, colleagues, etc., describe this person?
Okay, and we have Chenille on Facebook who's wondering what is number 3. So that was describing a person as if you were in like a networking meeting. Is that right?
Let's see. Let me go back here. They're not numbered. So let's see. So
Third
question 1, Chenille, is what does this person look like? Question 2 is how is this person dressed? Question 3 is how is this person interacting with others?
Hmm.
And then question 4 is how would other people in the room probably describe this person? And then question 5 that we're on right now is how would this person be described by friends, associates, colleagues, people who know this person a little better? All right. Next question. What stands out about this person? Next, how would this person want to be described? So we've talked about how like strangers, people in this networking context would describe them, how friends and associates would describe them. Now, how would this person want to be described? And again, this is thinking about your business as if it was a human being, not the people that you serve yet. All right. Next, when you think of, again, this person, what are the first 5 words that come to mind as far as this person's values? So this is not a mission statement. This is not any like first 5 words that come to mind for this person's values, which are the values of your company. All right, so now for the next part of this, for each one of those words, I want you to write what that word specifically means to you. So if you wrote, wisdom, what does wisdom mean to you? If you wrote, compassion, what is compassion? Like in your own words, what do each one of those 5 words mean specifically to you? All right. So normally at this point, when we do these coaching sessions one-on-one, there's a much deeper dive that we go into there and digging into what God is saying about the identity of your business. We'll skip over that for now because that's really more of a one-on-one thing. So next part is these words that you have listed. Do these and these descriptions, right? Do these align with the person that you described in part 1? Yeah. And then, if so, how do they align? And if not, how could the person better align with these values? So, a good description of this is we did this coaching session with a business owner one time, and she had described her person, her business as a person, kind of a little bit understated and wearing like a white blouse and khaki skirt and flats and earrings and like nothing too flashy, whatever. And then when she got to the values part, she put boldness. And then was like, wait a minute, like one of these things doesn't really align. She was like, oh, doesn't really want to make a splash, whatever the first part. And then she got here with boldness and went, wait a minute, something's wrong. Like we gotta fix that. So what common threads do you see through the personality exercise and these values? All right. And next, now that we have talked about the personality of your brand and the values of your brand, what are a couple of words, 5 or whatever come to you, that describe the tone of your brand? So if you want to think about it, if your business was a person, the way that they would communicate, right? Because how many times is a message misinterpreted because of tone? Thank you, text messages, right? It's like that whole time for dinner, when you accidentally hit caps and it's like time for dinner, stop yelling at me, right? Like how many times does tone impact the way that we receive a message that's being communicated? So something that's super, super important for our copy, for our visuals, for all of these things that get built as a result is that the tone that they're communicated in reflects this identity of the brand. So what are some of the words that describe what you see as the tone of your brand. All right, so the next part is taking time, and you don't have to do it right now, but take kind of a mental inventory, and then I encourage you to go back and do a deeper dive with this. Look at all of your brand touch points. Look at your customer journey, your customer experience. Look at your social media. Look at your website, how easy it is to navigate, your interactions, your onboarding process, like all of these things that incorporate the experience that people have with your company. And look at, where are you rocking this in being congruent with your identity, and where is there room to improve, or where do there maybe need to be some tweaks. So just kind of do a quick mental inventory and take some notes about that right now. But then I strongly encourage you to go do a deeper dive, particularly those of you who have established brands already, and look at, where is this congruent? Where does it need to be more congruent? And that's a powerful exercise to really invite the Lord into as well. Like, is this communicating the identity that you have for our business, for our brand, or not? Right? For my business, for my brand, or not? And so, and then the next part of this is, after you do that mental inventory, pick one thing that needs to be tweaked this week and put it on your calendar and make sure you do it, because, Carrie is nodding her head like, delayed action creates delayed results. And when you have the courage to own your identity and be authentic to the identity that God has for your business, who you are, first of all, it becomes like a magnet that attracts the people who have been looking for you, because now you're not a chameleon. Now you're owning your identity. It makes you like a lighthouse, right? And not only that, it also, like we said, is freeing in everything else that you develop. But it takes the impact of your branding to a whole new level. So I strongly, strongly encourage you, like, don't wait on that. Like, take some time, do a mental inventory now, and then really maybe block some time on your calendar to do kind of, an overall like audit of your brand. And that's, something we're happy to help with as well. And go through, like, where am I congruent? Where am I not? Am I aligned with my identity, or have I been trying to be like everybody else? Or is my identity over here confused and I need to get some more clarity on that, right? Because that's where a lot of business owners are, because we're just juggling all the hats and there's all of the things, and we get caught up in the tyranny of the urgent. But it's so, so powerful to lock in the identity of your brand, because then that is, like we talked about, that's that firm foundation that's building your house on the rock, building your business on the rock. And everything that you build from there forward will be consistent with that identity, and it'll stand. That builds a brand that stands the test of time. So I hope that was helpful for you.
Loved every second. That exercise was gold. I just feel like, okay, I've got like a million notes. I should have I will type it up and be more organized later. But yeah, I'm super excited to go through everything that I've done, all the touch points I have, all the ways people interact with me and my brand, and just make sure it's what I'm wanting to convey.
Yeah, because that entire experience is your brand.
Yeah.
Which is why we say, like, this is a piece of it, but this isn't your whole brand. And so many business owners are like, I have a logo. Guess what? That doesn't mean you have a brand. And if you think that that is your brand, then you probably have a brand, because customers are having an experience with you. But you probably don't have the brand experience that you want to have, because I'm guessing that there wasn't a strategy behind that, and they're going to feel that disconnect. So
good. Anything?
Shout out to Melissa for my birthday gift. My handmade Own Your Difference mug with our branding. Isn't that amazing? She painted that. So
Oh,
cool.
yeah. That's good. Now you guys can do that for all your clients.
Mhm.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, super good. So any questions, you guys? Anything that Rachel can help you with before we jump off? And she's in our group. Just know that she is an expert at this stuff. She does challenges. How often do you do them?
We've been doing them monthly. We're going to start doing them every other month. We do have
Okay.
a new challenge or event. We're still trying to decide if it's going to be a challenge or a mini event, probably a 3-day thing coming up. And then our next deep dive event, where we literally build out the complete blueprint of your brand. That next event is going to be in December. So we also
Awesome.
do one-on-one coaching sessions and provide branding services and all that kind of stuff. So we would be very, very happy to help you dial this in for your brand.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially as a business owner who is, a Christian, just working with you, like, I can't imagine working with someone on branding for me that isn't a Christian. Like, that's super important to me. So I love that you have that. You can use it in times, when it
Yeah.
applies. And then if
It's,
the brand doesn't want to include it, then
yeah,
we-
it's just cool. I was just talking about this on a podcast interview that I was a guest on yesterday. The kingdom of heaven speaks for itself, right? And so when the business owner is open to that and like we invite that into the process, it's great. I do it anyway, right? So even with our covert clients, I'm hearing downloads from the Lord for them and sharing them. They just don't always know that's what's happening. So, but certainly when clients are of like mind, then it's really, really refreshing to say, so this is what I'm hearing God say about the identity of your business, which is really powerful, and I feel really, really honored that we get to do so.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, for your energy, inspiration, and just exercise. I feel like I know a lot of people they reached out to me. They're like, I can't be on live, but I'm excited to watch it.
Oh,
So
good. Yeah, definitely. All of you watching the replay, thank you for watching.
thank you for being here. Reach out with questions. Rachel is in the group. She's amazing, super accessible. And yeah, just keep looking out for her challenges or working with her. Can't say enough good things. So
Thank you so much, Carrie.
yeah, thanks for being here. Bye, guys. Thanks, everyone on Facebook too. Later.